A Japanese businessman goes home after a hard day's work. He gets on a train, only to bump into a very strange man in a suit with an ear-to-ear smile. He hands you his business card and tells you that he's a salesman of sorts. However, he is no ordinary salesman. This man is Moguro Fukuzou, the Laughing Salesman, and he has exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you're a barber and you're nervous that you'll damage a customer, so he sells you something to calm your nerves while you work. Or maybe you need to improve your golf swing to win the respect of your coworkers, so he offers you some golf lessons that you so desperately need. Whatever it is that you want, he's there to sell it to you. Completely free of charge, I might add. A satisfied customer is the only compensation that he desires. The world is full of lonely people, young and old, and he's there to help you fill those gaps in your soul. Submitted for your approval, today's video is about a personal favorite of mine. Today's anime, The Laughing Salesman, from 1989. The Laughing Salesman has a simple story that I think everybody can follow. Each episode introduces us to a different customer, most of the time Japanese salarymen who are either down on their luck or have some kind of character flaw the salesman can take advantage of. No matter what the reason may be, if you bump into the salesman, your fate is sealed. Each customer is usually offered a magical device that will solve all of your problems, but it almost always comes with a rule that you must never break. Everyone makes mistakes though, and when you slip up, you can be sure the salesman will be there with a dan to punish you for breaking your promise. People are only human after all. Most of the time they deserve it, other times he messes with people's lives for seemingly no reason. Maybe he does it for a laugh, or maybe he just wanted to end the episode with a bad joke. Who knows? Ultimately, you're a slave to his whims. He is first and foremost a salesman, and it's only business after all. The Laughing Salesman was, and still is, an incredibly iconic character in Japan. His ear-to-ear smile has been put on everything that you can think of. A Laughing Salesman blanket to help you sleep at night. A Warau Salesman lighter to help brighten up someone's day. And he even has his own brand of spirits, which I would assume curse you the second that you have some. The show's popularity also led to a couple of video games being made, the most notable being the point-and-click adventure title for the Sega CD. It only covers 3 episodes, but it is one of the most impressive video games I have ever seen for that system. It's surprising the Sega CD could even do something like this. It also has the honor of being one of the only video games for that system that uses the Sega mouse controller, which very few video games took advantage of. And then we have this thing. This is possibly the most horrifying piece of anime merchandise I've ever seen. I didn't even know what it was when I looked at it, but it looks like one of those Garfield toys from the 1980s everybody had in their cars. Does anybody remember these things? Instead of attaching Garfield to your window though with suction cups, you would put this monstrosity on there instead. One of my favorite facts about The Laughing Salesman was Moguro was part of a digital rights campaign in the year 2000, which is one of the best things I've seen all year. You better not copy that floppy or the salesman just might get you. You guys don't pirate anime, right? However, in 2017, they made a new Laughing Salesman anime, and it was, ironically, one of the worst selling anime of all time. People did not want what the salesman was selling. It's not like it was badly made either. They did it in HD, they updated it with new stories. Heck, they even used the same music. You could not make a more faithful sequel if you tried. Emi Nakamura's hit single Don't was even used as the intro music to bring people in, but for some reason it didn't work. Emi did the Megalobox ending theme too that same year, so it's not like people didn't know who it was. The only thing I can even complain about with the new Laughing Salesman anime is that, well, they changed Moguro's voice. It's noticeably higher in the remake, and it's still pretty deep, but the original salesman was Ohira Toru, who was the Japanese voice of Darth Vader, and I don't really think there's anybody you could possibly replace him with that would have worked. So if this series is so famous in Japan, then why did it even fail in the first place with the Japanese? Well, it was possibly the perfect storm. First of all, this series was marketed towards an older demographic, and anime marketed towards Japanese adults, it does not sell these days. If all of that wasn't enough, the last episode of The Laughing Salesman aired in 1992. That means there was almost 30 years between one series and the next. So that means even though it was a famous series in the 1980s, within 30 years or so it lost almost all of its name recognition. So if it did so bad, why do I like it? Well, I'll admit I'm pretty biased. I grew up with things like Erie, Indiana, The Twilight Zone, Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark? The list goes on and on. These are the kind of things that I like because it's what I'm used to. So when I started watching The Laughing Salesman, it immediately clicked with me. The Laughing Salesman aired on TV for 3 seasons from October 1989 to September 1992 and ran for an incredible 103 10-minute episodes. It was so popular it even got 9 TV specials after that. And if that wasn't enough, there's also a short-lived live-action series from 1999. Most of it is lost media, but I did find the intro at least, and I think you can guess why this only lasted 10 episodes. Some things were just not meant to be made. Nowadays, The Laughing Salesman is mostly known for his pachinko machines, which are super popular in Japan right now. What is it about those things that always makes them the forgotten resting place of all old anime and video games anyway? People expect like a long story from anime these days. They expect some sort of deepest lore for every anime that they watch. So when people see The Laughing Salesman, they immediately start asking stupid questions like, what are the salesman's powers? Can you beat the salesman? If you were to do X, would Y happen? Well, let me put all those thoughts to rest. No, you can't beat the salesman. Nobody beats The Laughing Salesman. You're overthinking things. There isn't even a deeper meaning to the stories half the time. He's magic. He's not bound by rules. He does what he likes because he can. He's a force of nature, a horror monster. His powers are whatever the story calls for, and if you suspend your disbelief, you might just enjoy him. I think The Laughing Salesman is a very underrated, misunderstood anime that only gets ignored due to the era that it was released in. I'm not even sure it's possible to make an anime more opposite to what modern anime fans today expect. If you want some short stories about an unbeatable character that messes up people's lives, then this series is for you. The Laughing Salesman is best enjoyed as comfort food watched once a week or so when you're in the mood for it with a big old glass of your favorite drink. If you try to watch 5 episodes of this in a row though, you're watching it wrong. And if you're looking for lessons, you won't find any of them here. You're watching it wrong if that's what you're looking for. The fact that there's a lesson sometimes is a coincidence. The show isn't about the customers, it's about him getting a laugh out of it. He's evil, and no one ever said the devil was fair. So remember to be thankful for what you have, be careful what you wish for, and never ever pirate anime, or you just might get a visit from The Laughing Salesman. What was that? You wanted to watch the original series and you can't find it, and it's not in English anywhere. Well, you do know Japanese, don't you?
私はあなた方の心の隙間をお埋めします。